super happy because Dr. Dave is in the house on Live It Up. How have you been?
Hey, good, Donna. How you doing?
Good, good. You look well.
Thank you, thank you.
Nice and fit and trim. So what's been happening in your world?
Just enjoying the summer. You know what, Donna? It's such a great time to enjoy Long Island, especially, you know. We're getting to the beaches, the parks, getting out, doing things to just enliven life and stuff like that. It's a great time of year. Great time of year. How about you?
I'm doing well myself, actually. And I heard that you just passed another big test, so now you have more letters after your name, or how does that work?
I did. Became a diplomat of the American Board of Integrative and Holistic Medicine, which is a nice thing to have. Not many physicians have that, so I was glad I had the opportunity to take the test and pass, and here I am.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
What does that entail? Like, are there big books that you have to like
Yes,
learn?
yes. I think the review book was about 800 pages alone. So, but it's a culmination of everything I've learned in my past with all the different continuing educational courses I've taken, and it's the way I practice. So I just wanted to get my diplomat status in that, which just adds a little bit of credentials to your world. Why not? Right?
Why not? Why stop growing, right?
Exactly. Always live and learn. Live and learn.
And I know that learning is really important to you. So how do you, when you have to study something like that, how do you set up a course for success for yourself?
That's a good question. As I did in medical school as well, just you have to pace yourself. And I found that what I would do is I would look over the material a little bit first just to understand the depth and knowledge I would need to master before the exam. And then I just lay out a timeline and make sure I stay with it. Make sure I stay with it.
And do you treat do you give yourself little rewards along the way? Do you meditate in between, or?
Well, you do, and certainly with practice and living a life and my boys and what have you, I have to, balance the time. So what I would just always do is say X amount of hours per day and certainly a little bit more on the weekends, and it works out great that way, it really does.
What is the phrase? Is it 2 BID, 2 times a day, or whatever?
Oh,
what is that prescription?
BID, twice a day.
Is that it?
That's
Twice
right.
a day?
That's right. Very good. You know your Latin. Good.
I'm learning, hanging out with you a little bit.
Yes.
So now tell us, we were going to talk a little bit about weight loss.
Yes.
Weight loss is a humongous topic.
It is.
Do you think people back in the day were talking about it as much as we do?
No, I don't think they did. I don't think it was much, it certainly wasn't as much of a problem as it is today. And a lot of it has to do with our food source, the types of foods we're eating, genetic mutations in food, our lifestyle, lack of really getting out and doing unless you have a really good routine with exercise and fitness. But a lot of people over the years have become much more sedentary with office jobs, or even some of the jobs out there today are not as laborious because we've gotten more technology, or maybe once somebody had to dig a hole and now we have machinery to do it. So we're doing a lot less physical labor. Plus we hire everybody to do everything around the house, right? I mean, unfortunately, I'm prey to that as well. I can't tell you the last time I've actually done something where I picked up a shovel or swung a hammer. So those were all things where you did have some exercise on your off time. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I've actually sawed off limbs before, and I don't tend to do much of that anymore either. I guess we just kind of like, oh my gosh, or we let things go, and so maybe we're not doing as much. Now, in terms of weight loss, what are some basics that everybody should know before they start just trying to lose weight on their own?
Well, we have to be careful of all the fad diets out there. So I do a lot of weight loss in my practice. When I do it, I do blood work. I look at endocrine function. I look at different hormonal functions. But everybody can start losing weight on their own. And that's the beauty of what I'm going to talk about today. And there's some just simple principles that I'll even just start with patients. I'll have patients do a food log for 1 week. And it's kind of their way of just becoming aware. And I always say, don't become Gandhi or anything overnight. Just do what you've been doing and just put it on paper, and let's take a look at it and really see where you are at. And don't all of a sudden change what you're doing. Just do that for a week, look at it. Then once you look at it, you say, oh, these are areas I can improve. But one of the opening things I'll do with patients is say, you know what? The rule of 3, I call it, the rule of 3. There's 3 macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. But of all those 3, you have to really select the best of the best for each particular category. So for carbohydrates, for example, we want to stay with low glycemic carbohydrates. Those are ones that don't turn to sugar as quickly. Low glycemic indexes are available online. You can go do that. We go over that in my office sometimes. There's also something called the glycemic load. That's taking the glycemic index and taking it for a portion of food and saying how quickly does that portion of food turn to sugar. Low glycemic index would be something under a 55, and a low glycemic load would be under 10. So carbohydrates are really an important part, because if your insulin is high and you're pumping out insulin all the time because you have a high sugar type diet with refined sugars, sodas and candies and refined white breads and things like that. Even now, some of the interesting things that have come out when you start looking at glycemic index and load is something like even whole wheat bread, where once everybody thought, well, I'm eating a whole wheat grain sandwich, right?
Right.
No. The whole wheat bread now has a glycemic index that's similar to white bread. So who would have thought that, right? So you have to pick and choose your battles. So some of the things I'll always ask patients to do is let's get down to a low glycemic index diet.
And that's step one.
Step one, okay? Types of proteins, lean and clean proteins, chicken, fish, look at lean dairy. Certainly a lot of vegetable protein sources are great, whether you want to do soy or things of that nature. Nut butters are great to bring into the equation, and nuts because they have protein and fat, and that's a great combination. Beans are a great crossover because they have protein and fiber, so that's a great area to be in. And then when we look at the fats, which are the healthy fats? Are they olive oil, certainly high on the list. You can do canola, but again, going to the natural options, we have nuts out there that are good, avocado, and certainly certain vegetable options as well. Okay. Once you look at that, it's nice to do like a third at each meal. Say, I'm going to do a third lean protein, a third low glycemic carbohydrate, and a third healthy fat.
So if you took your plate and you divided it up into like a peace sign almost, and put something in each quadrant, right? Then that's kind of what you want, like portion size also?
Portion, and I do it almost more calorically. So in the beginning, I'll have a patient get one of the calorie books. And not to count calories, because you don't have to really always count calories to lose weight. Sometimes if you hit the wall, you may need to count calories to lose weight. But in the beginning, it's just sometimes food combining and how you eat that will help you lose weight. Looking at the third principle, I do it more like based on the calories. So if you're going to have a 300-calorie lunch, 100 calories from each category seems to work very well.
Sounds great. That's good. And then also drinking a lot of water helps too, right?
Yes.
Keeping hydrated, and maybe a glass of water before your meal, after your meal.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, great.
You could do even up a half an ounce per pound of body weight for water at least. And water helps detoxify, it helps satiate, which, satisfies you, and it helps, it just really helps the whole body, keeps your skin looking good, and it's really good for all your metabolic functions.
Excellent. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some links on our website from your page. And so for more information from the wonderful Dr. Dave on just healthy weight in balance. I like your principles of 3.
Thank you.
You can check it out at liveituptvshow.com. We're always here to help you because by helping you, it's also helping us. There's a lot that I can learn too, so stay tuned for more.